Unit 11, Day 3. Today we're going to talk about spheres and composite solids, finding the surface area and volume. Let's first identify the radius of this sphere, which is 4.8 inches. The formula for total area is 4 times pi times radius radius squared. So that means it's 4 times pi times 4.8 squared. And when you put that in a calculator, you'll get approximately 289.5 inches squared because it's still area. The formula for volume is 4 over 3 pi times radius cubed. So that's 4 over 3 times pi times 4.8 cubed. And type that in the calculator. You get approximately 463.2 inches cubed. Sorry, my 2's all the way at the top. But it's 463.2 inches cubed. So not so bad. Let's try this sphere. We're given the diameter, so we need to take 34 divided by 2 to get our radius, which is 17 meters. Same formula for total area, 4 times pi times radius squared. So that's 4 times pi times 17 squared, which would give us it gives us 3,631.7 meters squared. For volume, it's 4 over 3 pi times radius cubed. So that's 4 over 3 pi times 17 cubed. Which is about 20,579.5 meters cubed. So that's how you would do spheres. Now we're going to talk about composite figures and finding the total area and the volume of them. Starting with the total area, you're going to find the total area of each individual piece and then add them together. So the first thing we're going to do is find the total area for the cylinder. The formula for that was, let's look at our handy dandy chart. Again, if we forgot, which I did, For a cylinder, it's 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. Okay? Two pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. Now, the first part is your lateral area. It's the area around the cylinder. The second part is the two bases. But notice one of the bases, this one right here, is being shared by both figures. So we're not going to include that one in the area formula. So truthfully, we're only going to use one of the bases. So let's get rid of this 2. So that would be 2 times pi times the radius of the cylinder is 3 because it's half of 6. The 3D height for the cylinder is 8 plus pi times 3 squared. So let's put that in our calculator all together. 2 pi times 3 times 8 plus pi times 3 squared. And we would get approximately 179.1 feet. So now we got to find the area of the prism that's beneath the cylinder. The formula for the prism is, again, PH plus 2B. So, P stands for the perimeter of the base figure. The base figure is a rectangle. It's this is your base figure. So I would take 2 times 10 plus 2 times 4 for the perimeter of that prism, plus or times the 3D height of the prism, which is 7. And then it wants me to add 2 bases, but I know for sure I only need 1 base. But the other base, you're going to have to subtract that circle from it. So let's deal with 1 base first, and then we'll deal with the other one later. So 1 base would give us 10 times 4. And if we put that in the calculator, the perimeter 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 times 8, 4 is 8. So the perimeter is 28. So it's 28 times 7 plus 4 times 10, or 40. So you should get 236. And again, this is for 1 base of your prism. And I got 236 feet. Now, we need to figure out this shaded portion that I'm coloring in blue. The blue area will be the prism, or rectangle, 10 times 4 minus the area of the circle, So the area of the circle is pi times 3 squared. So the area of the blue portion we also need in our final total area. So 40 minus pi times 3 squared. And that is about 11.7 feet. And now what we need to do is take all of those portions and combine them together to get 1 grand area. So this 179.1, 236, and 11.7. Add those all up, and that's the total area for the composite. And the total area would be 426.8 feet squared. Sorry, all of these areas should have feet squared on them. Now the volume we would find in the same manner. Find the volume of each piece individually and then add them together. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the volume of the cylinder. The formula again for volume of a cylinder is B times H. So that's the area of the base. So pi times 3 squared times the height of the cylinder, which is 8. So put that in our calculator. So pi times 3 squared times 8. So the volume of the cylinder is about 226.2 feet cubed. Now we're going to find the volume of the prism, which is also B times H. So that's 10 times 4 times 7. So 40 times 7, in other words, it's 280 feet cubed. So now we add both volumes together to get the area of the composite. So 226.2 plus 280. About 506.2. Cubed. So the tricky part is definitely the total area, because you got to remember to exclude parts that are not exposed. So you got to remember what pieces those are. Let's practice one. So on this one, we have a pyramid on top of a prism. So let's find the area of the pyramid first. And if you don't recall the formula for that, for a pyramid, it's 1/2 PL plus B. PL plus B. But if you notice, the base is not exposed. In other words, it's not seen, so we're not going to include it in our final total area. So let's scratch out the base. So we're going to take 1/2 times the perimeter of the base, though. The perimeter of the base is 6 plus, or 4 times 6. And then the slant height is given as 8 centimeters, because that's what the fancy L stands for, slant height. So 1/2 of 4 times 6 times 8, in other words, 2 times 6, which is 12 times 8 is 96, I believe. Yes. So the area of the pyramid minus the base is 96 centimeters squared. Now we find the total area of the prism. Again, this was P times H plus 2B. But again, the same scenario. One of the bases is not exposed. So essentially it's just going to be one base. So the perimeter of the base is 4 times 6 because it's a square. The height, the 3D height for my prism is 2.5 plus the area of the base, which is 6 times 6. So let's calculate all this. 4 times 6 times 2.5 plus 36 is also 96 centimeters squared. So thankfully there's no other subtractions to take care of in this problem, so all we're going to do is add 96 and 96 to get the total area of the composite. 96 times 2 is 192. So 192 centimeters squared. Now for volume. The volume for the pyramid, the formula is 1/3 BH. So that's 1/3. The base of the pyramid is 6 times 6. And then the height of the pyramid we have to find. We're given the slant height, but we have to use Pythagorean's theorem and the slant height to find the 3D height. So the slant height is 8. Half of the base is 3. So we would take the square root of 8 squared minus 3 squared to find the 3D height of the pyramid. Which would give you approximately 7.4 for your 3D height of your pyramid. So 7.4. So now we can put that in a calculator. All together. And the volume is approximately 88.99, so about 89 centimeters cubed. Now we find the volume of the prism. Again, it's B times H. So the area of the base is 6 times 6. And then the 3D height is 2.5. So 36 times 2.5 is 90. So the volume of the prism is 90 centimeters cubed. And now to find the total volume for the composite figure, we take 89 plus 90, which is 179 centimeters cubed. I will tell you the steps to complete this one, but I'm pretty confident you can take care of it. What you have in this picture is half of a cylinder sitting on top of a rectangular prism. So when you find the total area of the cylinder, you're going to have to divide it by 2 at the end. And then the prism, it's the same as the last 2 examples, the formulas for prism. So complete this example, and this concludes your notes for today.